18 For what is Clojure useful for? Clojure is designed to be a hosted language, sharing the JVM type system, GC, threads etc. All functions are compiled to JVM bytecode. Clojure is a great Java library consumer, offering the .target member notation for calls to Java. Clojure supports the dynamic implementation of Java interfaces and classes. Is Clojure better than Python? Clojure and Python can be primarily classified as languages tools. It is a Lisp. Concise syntax and persistent data structures are the key factors why developers consider Clojure, whereas great libraries, readable code, and beautiful code are the primary reasons why Python is favored. Is Clojure better than Java? Clojure requires less lines of code. This means that you need less Clojure lines of code than Java lines of code in order to achieve the same result. Another reason why you need to write less lines of code is because Clojure is a functional programming language. Why is Clojure so popular? Clojure meets its goals by embracing an industry standard, open platform, the JVM, modernizing a venerable language Lisp, fostering functional programming with immutable persistent data structures, and providing built-in concurrency support via software transactional memory and asynchronous agents. Why do people love Clojure? Interoperable with Java. Clojure was built to run on the Java Virtual Machine, JVM, and, as such, has access and interoperability with the Java language and all its libraries and frameworks. This makes both Java and Clojure more versatile and able to solve more problems they couldn't on their own. What are the disadvantages of Clojure? Working and use of Clojure with advantages. The primitive types in Clojure are all Java primitives, and performance penalties must be paid by Clojure runtime while trying to wrap all the Java primitives. Is Clojure used for data science? Data scientists often forge a novel path, and you'll see how to make use of Clojure's Java interoperability capabilities to access libraries such as Mahout and lib for which Clojure wrappers don't yet exist. Even seasoned Clojure developers will develop a deeper appreciation for their language's flexibility. Does Google use Clojure? Clojure script projects always auto-include the Google Clojure library, a massive library built and used by Google on many of their products, Gmail, Docs, etc. Is Clojure faster than Python? Now let's compare against Python. Clojure is more performant, but will start slower. Clojure will scale quite a lot more, both in cores on a single machine or distributed. Is Clojure faster than Java? In principle, Clojure can be just as fast as Java. Both are compiled to Java bytecode instructions, which are executed by a Java virtual machine. Clojure code will generally run slower than equivalent Java code. However, with some minor adjustments, Clojure performance can usually be brought near Java performance. Is Clojure a fast language? Clojure JVM in its standard form is pretty slow to start, much slower than Java even. But then Clojure on JS runtime starts sufficiently fast for most use case, though still slightly slower than the equivalent JS would. What is similar to Clojure? Scala, Haskell, Common Lisp, Elixir, and Julia are the most popular alternatives and competitors to Clojure. Does Clojure work on Windows? VS Code has an official extension for working with WSL2 that lets you run VS Code on Windows with all your development set up on Ubuntu as if it were local. That's an easy way to work with Clojure on Windows, using Calva for Clojure integration. Why isn't Clojure popular? It uses a lot of memory. It's hard to hire developers for it. It doesn't have enough Clojure-based libraries and frameworks, i.e., not interop-based. The Lisp syntax is hard to read and unfamiliar. Why is Clojure so slow? Clojure is not inherently slow, but there are a few factors that can make it slower than some other programming languages. Dynamic typing. Clojure is a dynamically typed language, which means that the type of a variable is determined at runtime rather than at compile time. Companies. Below is a partial list of some companies using Clojure or Clojure script. Most of this information comes from direct contacts, presentations, or other online resources. Also, check out the Clojure success stories and community stories pages. 3e.eu. 8th Light. Acclaimant. Active Group GmbH. Adaptly. AdGoji. Adobe. AdStage. Advance Auto Parts. AdZerk. Aga. Hussein Hassanin. Writer and researcher.